baby," Avery chatted with her daughter, who often cooed and gave a toothless laugh while carrying on a conversation. But Anya's lips were set in frown, sensing her mother's sorrow. Junior signed. "Mom, I have to get Sheriff." She nodded, then spoke each word slowly. "If he went through the doggy door, Junior, then come get me. You are not to go outside alone. The storm is getting bad. I'll be in Anya's room, putting her down. We all know how she gets if she hasn't had her nap." Avery headed to the room closest to her own, which had not been refurbished to reflect the estate's grandeur in its prime like all of the other Baudelaire bedrooms. It was an eclectic nursery with modern bright blue walls, painted elephants, and antique furniture. Avery breathed in the mild scent of Anya, almost calming, until her gaze landed on the pink oleander flowers on the cherrywood stand outside of Anya's bedroom. Ice flushed through her veins. Those weren't her favorite flowers, and Donavan was in too much heat to mend it with bunches of lavender. "Hunter has been in my house? He put these flowers here." The anger took root in her stomach, kneading tiny knots. Holding Anya as close as possible, Avery started toward the stairs. The staircase opened at the opposite end of the long hall. Junior's back was to her. There was no use screaming or shouting. He wouldn't hear a single word. But Avery hadn't noticed it before. Behind Junior on an accent table was another vase of pink oleanders. Avery's breath hitched as Junior turned slightly in her direction. She chopped her left hand through the air, but he didn't look up while meandering down. He was mid-step, shouting for Sheriff, when he noticed her. She waved him back up, her fingers to her lips. "But, Mom..." Gaze darkening, she waved at him again, and he hustled up the stairs. Though Junior was almost as good at lip-reading as she'd been as a child, Avery handed him the baby and signed the words. "Take Anya, go in your room, lock the door." He mouthed, "But Mom, Sheriff, he always listens when I call him." "Now, please," she growled. Avery ran along the hall, grabbing the wooden banister to stop herself from moving so quickly. She turned and flew down the stairs. Her bare feet hit the second landing with a thud as she gripped the railing to rush down toward the double doors. She stopped short. The doors were wide open. Though the wind was driving hard outside, Avery knew the chill creeping down her spine came from fear. Readjusting her focus, Avery gasped. A man stood at the foot of the stairs. Hunter's dark eyes, which once held a note of sanity, were now narrowed. He placed his hand along the intricately carved banister and started up. He wore a black windbreaker and black khakis. His thin lips were virtually non-existent as he ascended the steps slowly, his broad shoulders almost as wide as the lofty staircase. "Now, why would our son do that?" Her bones trembled. Their son? She'd never. Hunter sneered. "Run and hide? Hide from whom, AC?" "You can't call me that." Avery knew her voice was all but a croak. Had the words even been audible? Pressing her way back up the stairs, fire shot through Avery's heel as it hit the back of the cedarwood steps. Her eyes stayed glued on Hunter's lips, though. "Do you know that when we first met, I thought about squeezing your neck until blood burst out your eyes?" He measured each word. "You were under this enchantment." His statement made no sense, and Avery was confused. But one thing she was sure of was that Hunter was crazier than she herself had been when she'd lost her mind at Sunnymead Resort. When she spoke, her tone was level and confident. "I apologize for hurting your feelings." Avery wasn't the type to run or hide, and not even the devil himself could stop her from fighting for her children.